We continue now at the top of Daf Sadi Zayin Amud Beis in Meseches Bava Kamma. This is Bava Kamma Daf 97b. On the previous Amud, the Gemara said there's a machlokas amoraim. Let's say a person lends another person money, and it's on the understanding that he's going to pay back with a particular kind of coin, and then that particular kind of coin is disqualified. So no sein lo matbea hayotze ba'osa shah. Rav says that he should pay back with a coin that's in circulation at that time that he's paying back. Shmuel Amar, but Shmuel says Yachol lomar lo. He can say to him lech hotzio b'meishon. Go and spend it. I'll give you that same kind of coin that we agreed upon, and go to Meishon where they accept that coin, and you can use it over there. Rashi explains, no sin lo matveh hayotze b'shas piron. At the time he's paying back, he gives him a coin that's in circulation. The hakiv of loses lo matveh, because he said he's going to give him a matveh coin. V'hai lav matveyahu, but once it's disqualified, it is not a coin. And Rashi notes, V'davke hilveo pragmatia. This entire machlokas is specifically where what is loaned is merchandise. Aval hilveo mos, but if he lent him money, as shehelveo mishalim lo, that which he lent him, that is what he can pay back, meaning to say, according to Rav. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rav Nachman says, Mistabra milse de Shmuel. It makes sense to say that when Shmuel says he can give him this coin that's out of circulation and tell him, go and spend it in Meishon, that's the islay orcha lemeza lemeshon. That's if he has a way to get to Meishon. Avalezlay orcha, but if he doesn't have a way to get to Meishon, lo, so then even Shmuel would say he's not able to give him that kind of coin. And the Gemara continues, Eisvei Ravaler of Nachman. Rava asks of Nachman the following question from a Brisa. The Brisa says, and this is from the Tosefta, Ein mechalin al hamos she'enam yotzos. Let's say you're trying to redeem Meiser Sheni. So you generally redeem Meiser Sheni on money. You cannot redeem it on money that's not in circulation. Keitzad how so? Hayulo mos kuzvios. Let's say he has money that's from the time of Bar Kochva or Yerushalmios. It's Yerushalmi money. Or Shal Malachim Harishonim, or it's money that was in circulation at the times of the earlier kings. Ein mechalin. None of those coins can be used to be mechalel Meiser Sheni. And the Gemara infers, Hashal achronim dumyo derishonim, but let's say it would be currency from a later time period, but it would be similar to the earlier kind of currency, meaning it's not in circulation. Apparently, mechalin, that would be okay to be mechal. You could redeem on that kind of money, meaning if it's ancient money, if it's older money, so that already is problematic. But if it's current money that's out of circulation, that apparently would be okay. And what do we see over here? That's okay to use that money, even though it doesn't say anything about having a way to get to Meishon. This is saying, like what Shmuel is saying, that the person can say, even though it's out of circulation here, we can use this coin, because apparently it's in circulation in other places, but it doesn't say anything here about the idea that the person has to be able to get to that particular place where the coin is in circulation. That's why it's a question against Rav Nachman. Rashi explains, Almos she'ein yotzos. Again, the Brisa said you can't redeem Meiser Sheni on money that's not in circulation. Klal b'Yerushalayim delav kesef tzura karina bey. That's not called kesef tzura. Again, the idea is that it's not in circulation within Yerushalayim, because the whole idea is that you take the money up to Yerushalayim when you redeem the Meiser Sheni onto coins. Kuzbios means matbeya shel ben kuziba. That's the coin of ben kuziba. That's bar kochba. V'Yerushalmios havu v'hachi garsin and kuzbios Yerushalmios. The first pshat Rashi gives is the girsa should be kuzbios Yerushalmios, because those bar kochva coins were Yerushalmi coins. O shel malachim harishonim. Or we're talking about coins from the earlier kings, the Kuzvios v'Yerushalmios lo nafki klal. And the Kuzvios, the Yerushalmios, those are not in circulation at all. Lish nachrin, another way to understand the Gemara is Kuzvios is shel Keziv. Kuzvios refers to the coins of Keziv. V'hachi garsin, and according to that, you'd have a girsa, Kuzvios o Yerushalmios. It's not Kuzvios that are Yerushalmios, it's Kuzvios or Yerushalmios, o shel malachim harishonim, or from the earlier kings. In any case, the point is the earlier kings, those earlier coins are a problem. Hashal achronim, but let's say it was later coins. Denavki b'medina acheres. Let's say they are coins that are in circulation somewhere else. V'dumya derishonim hu bekach dein yotzos kan b'mekomo shel bal habayis. But they're similar to the earlier coins in the sense that they're not in circulation right here in the area where the bal habayis is. Shenifsulu bekan, meaning to say they've been disqualified over here. So they're mechalin. So there we would say that you could use those coins. V'af al gav de lesle orcha lahasam, even though there's no way to get there. B'mokom sheyotzin, in the place where they are in circulation. Sharei b'Yerushalayim tzarech leilech ulahotzian. Rashi points out over here, it's not just the idea that you can't physically get to that other place. It's impossible to use them in the other place. We're talking about money of Meiser Sheni. It has to be used in Yerushalayim. So essentially, this is a situation where, since it is in circulation somewhere else, even though you're never going to be able to take it to that other place, apparently it's still okay. The kasheler of Nachman, I'll leave it to Shmuel. That's a question on Rav Nachman, according to Shmuel. The Yamar Ava Lesle or Chalameshon Lo, because again, he said if you can't bring them to Meshon, it's not going to be good. Here, you can't bring it outside of Yerushalayim, and it is good. And so the Gemara continues, Amar Lei, Rav Nachman said back to Rava, Hacha b'mayaskinon, here in this brisa with the money of Meiser Sheni. What are we talking about? Kishein malchios makpido zu al zu. We're talking about when the governments are not makpid in one another, even though it's out of circulation here, the government doesn't mind if it's used in another area, and in such a situation, you don't have to actually use it in that other area, like in this case, where it's money of Meiser Sheni, it can't be taken out of Yerushalayim anyhow, but it doesn't matter, as long as the kingdoms are not makpid on one another, it's going to be considered a coin, and you can redeem the Meiser Sheni on that coin. But the Gemara says, according to that answer, Elaki Amar Shmuel, but according to that answer, when Rav Nachman was qualifying Shmuel, that would mean that Shmuel was talking, Kishem Malchios Makbido Zu Al Zu. That's talking specifically when the various governments are makbid on one another. But if that's the case, Heichi Matzi Mamtu, then we're back to our question, how is the person able to take it to Meshon? The whole point was, Rav Nachman said that according to Shmuel, who says that the coin is considered okay to pay back the debt with because he can say to him, go and spend it in Meshon, but now we're talking about where the kingdoms are makbid on one another, so he can spend it in Meshon. And the Gemara answers to that, no, what it means to say is, the mamti lo al yedei hadachak. He can do it, but it's going to be a kind of a forced, difficult situation. It's a situation where it's possible to spend it in Meshon, but it's not going to be that easy. The lo bakshi, because they're not really going to search through everything and see if you're using the wrong kind of coins. V'i mishkachi, but if they do find that kind of coin, kapti, they will be makbid. It was in that specific situation, where again, the kingdoms are makbid on one another, but they won't necessarily search. So there, if Nachman said, it makes sense that Shmuel is only saying that halacha in a situation where you're actually able to get to Meshon. Then again, Shmuel says you could pay back with that kind of coin. And Rashi explains, Elaki Amar Rav Nachman Aliba de Shmuel. Again, what did Rav Nachman say according to Shmuel? That if you can't get to Meshon, then you can't use these coins again to pay back this debt. Kishamalchios Makpidos is talking about when again the kingdoms are makbid bitmia. That wouldn't make any sense. If so, even if he could get to Meshon, how could he use that money? When they inspect it and they see that he has this coin, and they find this coin, when they find that money, they're going to make him lose it. They're not going to let him use that money. And Rashi continues, Umashani, and the Gemara answers the lo bakshi that they don't search. Shein makbid and kol kach shu bodkin umechavsin al davar zeh. They're not so makbid that they're going to search for this kind of coin. V'ashkachi kapti, but if they do find the coin, they will be makbid. So Hilkach, therefore, islay orcha shenitzrech leilech sham. Rav Nachman was saying within Shmuel, if the creditor anyway is going over there to Meshon, yekablim v'yotzi l'sham b'schor. So then already you can pay back with this kind of coin, and he'll use that kind of coin in his business in Meshon. V'la, but if not, since you can't show this kind of coin explicitly to someone from Meshon who might be here, so then if the creditor wants, he doesn't have to accept such a coin, because he can say there's really no use for me to use this coin. And the Gemara continues, Tashma, come in here the following proof. Ein mechalin al mos shalkan v'hein bebavel. A person cannot redeem Meiser Sheni on Eretz Yisrael money if that money is in Bavel. V'shel Bavel v'hein kan. And similarly, let's say it's Bavel money and it is here in Eretz Yisrael, you can't redeem the Meiser Sheni on that kind of money. Shel Bavel v'hein bebavel. But if it's Bavel money and it is in Bavel, mechalin, then you could redeem the money. And Rashi explains, Ein mechalin al mos shel kan v'hein bebavel. You can't redeem Meiser Sheni on Eretz Yisrael money if it's in Bavel, meaning Ein mechalin Meiser Sheni al mos shel kan Yerushalayim. You can't be mechal Meiser Sheni on Yerushalayim money v'hamos v'habaylim bebavel if the money itself and the owners are actually in Bavel. Hoel v'einon yotzos miyad b'makom shein. Why? Because that money can't be used in theory in the area where that money is right now. Sham deba'inon matzli b'yadcha. It can't be used there, and it needs to be matzli b'yadcha. It needs to be something that you really could use right now in theory. V'leka, you don't have that. That's why you can't use, even though it's Yerushalayim money, since it's in Bavel, it's not considered money for the purpose of redemption of Meiser Sheni. V'lo al shel Bavel v'hein bekan b'Yerushalayim. Also, if you have Bavel money, but it's here in Yerushalayim, that also is no good. V'aperos lo shani lon kol hecha de'isnu yachol lechalon v'hein chutz l'Yerushalayim. When it comes to the fruit, there it doesn't matter where they are. Wherever they are, it's not a problem to redeem them. They're always going to be outside of Yerushalayim. And the point over here is katani mihas. What does it say here? Ein mechalin al hamos shel kan v'hein bebavel. You're not allowed to redeem on Yerushalayim money if that money is in Bavel. Alma afagav de islay or chalamation. Now we see, even though you could bring this money and you're planning on bringing this money to Meshon, in this case to Yerushalayim, could go in hacha like over here where the money is going to be going from Bavel and be spent in Yerushalayim. The sovo lalos lakan. That's the whole point. You're going to come up to Yerushalayim ulhotzian and spend it in Yerushalayim. V'afilu hachi lo kari luhu hu mos hayotzas, and still we don't call that money that's in circulation, and that's a question against Shmuel. Again, Shmuel said, if you have a way to get to Meshon, and then you're going to spend it in Meshon, so you can use those coins, even though they're not in circulation here, they're still considered to be valid coins. Here, we're not saying that. Here, even though you're going to bring this Yerushalayim money to Yerushalayim, apparently it's not going to be considered valid money in terms of the redemption of Meiser Sheni. And so that's what the Gemara says, Katani mihas. Nevertheless, what does it say in this brisa? Ein mechal al mos shel kan vehein bebavel. You're not allowed to be mechal on money, Yerushalayim money, if it's in Bavel. Afal gav de sofo lemesek lazim. Even though, again, you are going to bring that money up to Yerushalayim. It's a question on Shmuel. And the Gemara answers, Hacha b'mayaskin. And here, what are we talking about? Keshemalchios makpidos azu al zu. We're talking about when the various governments are makpid on one another. In such a situation, if the governments are makpid on one another, so then really it is not going to be considered currency at all, because you have here Yerushalayim money, for example, in Bavel. Bavel is makpid against that kind of money. That already, even Shmuel would agree, that's not considered to be valid currency in terms of redemption. Rashi says, Makpido zu al zu yeser midai, meaning they're very makpid on one another. The bachshi, that they actually search, uvadki, they inspect. Hilkach misukanos hein shel Bavel b'malchus Yerushalayim. Therefore, for example, if you have Bavel money, it's not going to be able to use it at all in the kingdom of Yerushalayim. To makpedes uvachshit fei. Again, they search for this kind of thing. They don't want you to use that kind of money. And that's why in this particular situation, they're saying, if it's Yerushalayim money in Bavel, if it's Bavel money in Yerushalayim, it's going to be problematic. But the Gemara says, if the situation over here is the Malchios are makbid on one another, ihachi, if so, shall Bavel vehein bebavel. Let's say you have money of Bavel, and it's in Bavel. L'may chazu, well, what are you going to use that money for? How are you redeeming Meiser Sheni onto that money if you're not even able to use that money in Yerushalayim at all? And the Gemara answers to that, chazu dezaven bu behema. The way it's fit is that you can use that money to buy an animal, umasikli Yerushalayim, and then you could just bring that animal up to Yerushalayim. That is another method. And Rashi says, "Lamai chazi halomatzi lam tuyin alahacha." Again, you're not able to bring it up to Yerushalayim, and again, the Gemara answers, you'll bring the animal to Yerushalayim. But the Gemara continues, "V'atanya, didn't we learn in the Brisa, hiskinu shiu hamos yotzos b'Yerushalayim ifnei kach, that for this reason they made a special takana that all money you should be able to spend in Yerushalayim, meaning they wanted people to be able to conveniently redeem their Meiser Sheni, and actually all currency is accepted in Yerushalayim. So how does this even make sense to say that this Babylonian money wouldn't be accepted in Yerushalayim?" And the Gemara answers to that. Amar Rabbi Zeira says, "Lo kash, it's not difficult. Kan bizman sheyad Yisrael tekifa al umos." In one case, al umos ha'olam. In one case, we're talking where the Jewish government is stronger than the nations of the world. Then they were able to make such a takana that all currency could be accepted in Yerushalayim. Kan bizman sheyad umos ha'olam tekifa al atzman. But if the outside nations were stronger than the Jewish government, so in that situation they wouldn't be able to make such a takana. You could have a situation where Babylonian money cannot be used in Yerushalayim. And the Gemara continues, Tanu Rabbanan, the rabbis taught, Ezehu matbeya shel Yerushalayim. What was the coin of Yerushalayim? David u'Shlomo mitzarecha. David and Shlomo are on one side of the coin. V'Yerushalayim Yer HaKodesh mitzarachar. And Yerushalayim Yer HaKodesh is on the other side of the coin. Ve'ezehu matbeya shel Avram Avinu. And what was the coin of Avram Avinu? Zakein u'Zakeinu mitzarecha. The elderly couple on one side, that's Avram and Sarah. U'Bachru b'Sulam mitzarachar. And the younger couple, that's Yitzchak and Rivka, on the other side. And the Gemara continues, Boy minei Rava me Rav Chisda. Rava asked Rav Chisda the following question: Hamalves chaveru al hamatbei. If somebody lends money to his friend to be paid back with a particular kind of coin, v'osifu olav, and then the government actually adds that kind of coin is now bigger than it used to be. Mahu, what's the halacha? Amar lo, he said back to him, Nosen lo matzvei hayotze bo'os hashah. He gives him the kind of coin that is in circulation at the time he's paying back. He gives him the larger coin. Amar le said to him, va'afilu kinafi, even if that coin is as big as a sieve. Amar le, and he said, yes, even if it's that large. Amar le afilu kitarti, he said, even if that coin is as big, this is a sela gadol, this is a very large kind of coin. It's able to hold a quarter of a kav, even if it's that big. Amar le, and he said, yes, even if it's that big. And so then he asked, well, kazailan period, but if that's the case, the fruit has now gotten much cheaper, meaning you can buy much more fruit for those kind of coins. Those are larger coins. It takes less coins to buy the same amount of fruit as before, and it should be a problem of interest. Essentially, he's asking, if you're paying back in larger coins than what was lent, isn't it a problem of ribbis? Amar Rav Ashi says, Chazinan, we have to see. If it's because these coins are worth so much more that now all these fruits are cheaper in comparison, so then actually you're correct, menchinan le. So then we actually have to deduct, and you'll give back the same kind of coins, but don't give back as many coins. You have to give back an equivalent value. And Rashi explains, David and Shlomo, first again, the coins of Yerushalayim have David and Shlomo, Kasav Mitzad Echad, that's written on one side, Umitzad Sheni, Kasav Yerushalayim Yer HaKodesh, and on the other side of the coin it says, Yerushalayim Yer HaKodesh. Bachru Besula refers to Yitzchak v'Rivka, Bachar and Besula refer to Yitzchak and Rivka. Zakenu Zakena, Avram v'Sara, and Zakenu Zakena, that refers to Avram and Sarah. V'Osifu Alei and Mao, and then the question was, what if they add to the coin? Aliba de Rav, this question is specifically, says Rashi, according to Rav. T'yomer nosin lo matbea shalos hasha. Again, Rav says you give the type of coin that's in circulation at that time. So heichad osifu olav mai. What if they mayam Rav, when they add to the coin, now it's going to be worth more? What would Rav say? And he says ba'os hasha b'shas piron. You do give that same kind of coin, that larger coin that's in circulation at the time that he's repaying. Kitarti, again, sell a gadol, that's a large coin. B'mid, it's a very large coin. Mechazekas rova, it's like a quarter of a kav. V'kazaylin and peiros. But then the question is, isn't it a problem of interest because the fruits are relatively cheap now with those coins? Lagavi matbeyazu, meaning if you're comparing them to this kind of larger coin, you can get more fruits. Nimsa shemistaker zebetosefis, he's going to end up that this person gains with the addition. Ve'ena domel rishonim, it's not similar to what was lent originally. V'have ribis, it should be a problem of ribis, it should be a problem of interest. And we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Tzadi Ches Amud Aleph.